Now, don't click off this video. I understand this is a mock-up, but it's too cool not to show, right? It's too cool not to show after yesterday's leak from Nate the Hate that Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to Switch 2 in 2025. A Switch Halo limited edition. It's just too freaking cool. Good morning, Mario. Good morning, Switch fans. We got a lot of exciting things to discuss, including big rumors from a French retailer that we need to cover. We've got Necro Philippe and others saying, hey, we know the date, and we've got a Pro Controller update that I find to be absolutely thrilling. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce Halo Master Chief Collection. Probably never going to get a special edition Switch for this game. Nintendo, you know, they did a Diablo, I guess. They did a Fortnite. They did a Dragon Quest. They could do a Halo. This would be freaking sick, and it would be kind of like earth-shattering for everyone that's, you know, been a fan of Xbox since the beginning, been a fan of Nintendo. We're going to talk about this theory, and we're going to talk about what mods are saying. Remember, the truth is less exciting than the rumors. The title is a quote from Nintendo World Report's TV's new video. Prepare to be disappointed so that you won't be. Not that the rumors are true or false, just be prepared to be disappointed next week. And some people are trying to connect the truth and next week, that we're going to get a reveal next week. Now, where I really like to look is from Necro Philippe, who I think is very reputable. Guaranya from Fama Board says, by the way, next week is the week. And Necro Philippe says, I don't think he is kidding. Now, Guaranya has had some leaks in the past. I don't really know how good or bad his record or her record or their record is. But Necro Philippe is giving it the backup that we need. And it feels like next week has to be the week. So much has been coming to a head. So much has been leading up to this. We've got retailer leaks. We've got freaking live on the CES show floor leaks. And we do have a new picture of the dock. This is from Next Handheld. And this is obviously AI-generated polar bears in Arctic and snow. But this is a unobscured photo of the dock. You can see the dock in all its glory with its rounded edges and with the Nintendo Switch 2 logo in the center. As you know, Next Handheld is the big leaker who first showcased parts of the dock and does claim to have a Switch in their hands, one that they can't turn on, but one that they have been able to provide information about, like the orange and blue color scheme, information about the Joy-Con, information about the dock, and this is our best look at the dock yet. It's just basically the dock. A couple things I want to point out here. Many of the mock-ups showed that the front panel of the dock was going to be significantly shorter than the back, so that a good chunk of the Switch would stick out. Now, I thought this was pretty neat and pretty cool, and I thought that maybe Nintendo Alarmo was kind of a dual effort test for Nintendo to not only, you know, make this overpriced alarm clock, but also showcase technology where Nintendo could display information while the Switch 2 was charging, like have battery life, have the time, have a little Mario, you know, moving around, animating. But based on this image, it doesn't look like the front is that much shorter, if at all shorter than the back, and therefore I don't know how much of the Switch 2 will stick out. Now, to be clear, the Switch 2 could still stick out because the Switch 1 does stick out a little bit, but you need a significant amount of the screen to stick out in order for there to be some sort of like sleep mode bar that does highlight different pieces of information. I do think that'd be cool, even just from a visual standpoint. I think it would make the Switch 2 look A, notably different, and B, very futuristic. I mean, it's not like it's that exciting to see the time and the battery percentage, but it would be nifty, it would be convenient, and I think it would be cool for it to have some, you know, usage in its sleep / powered off mode. That's a big screen. It still could stick out of this. It would look a little more awkward if it's not protected by the back panel. But as we know, the Switch 1 dock doesn't have protection from the back panel, and it does stick out a bit. So this could allow for it to still stick out, or this could be that just those rumors of the dock having a lower front and sticking out aren't actually true, and the connections we've tried to draw between Alarmo and sort of that Switch 2 like little info bar, media bar thing aren't accurate. But very good to see the Switch 2 logo, which is very generically the Nintendo Switch logo with a 2 next to it. Okay, but like at the same time, Nintendo, thank you. You didn't goof this one up. You've kept it very simple. I appreciate and applaud you and all of that. They aren't messing around. Nintendo supposedly did go to Genki's CES booth with lawyers. This is according to Julien Telloc, a famous French video game journalist. He says at CES that Nintendo came up to Genki and confronted them, and since Genki has said, oh, we were lying, this wasn't actually a black market Switch 2, it wasn't actually a real Switch 2, we don't have it, and they are lying. I can tell you that much. They do have something official from Nintendo, not from Nintendo, but like they've got some Switch stuff, and they've got the specs. They just can't, Like, Nintendo is forcing them to go out and say legally, like, hey, this is not official, because it's not official. Remember what we talked about the other day? To be official, it has to come from the, the womb of Nintendo, and Genki is not Nintendo. And so these lawyers were like, dude, you can't do this. Genki said they did nothing wrong. They never signed an NDA, but I'm sure Nintendo put extreme pressure on Genki to come out and say, oh, it's all made up. It's all fake. It's not real. Now, this is very interesting because this is from supposedly someone that works at Micromania, which is a French retailer, and we got to read through this and then evaluate the response. Hi, I can confirm that all the prices we see on the net about Switch 2 are wrong. I work at Micromania. We received the prices. The console will be €399 unless Nintendo changes anything at the last minute. We received a list of 25 provisional games with prices from €69 to €79. The list of games is coded, and I can confirm that the price of Nintendo Switch Online will increase. I can just tell you that everything is already ready for pre-orders. I know the first Nintendo exclusive game because there is a pack-in with this game, and it's limited edition, and the whole list of games is coded. I can't say anything more because I'm risking my job, just that pre-orders are really for soon. Now, remember, anybody from any company, from any store, from nowhere can come out and say something like this. And they're being smart about it because they're tying things together that we know. They're looking at, a $400 to $450 price point. 25 games at launch, which seems like a lot. But we do know third-party support is going to be significantly higher this time around, and that Nintendo would probably want to pepper the launch with more titles as opposed to last time where I think it was 6 or 7. The pack-in thing is interesting because we've heard from Next Handheld that, there's a limited edition Mario Kart Nintendo Switch 2 console. So this person is insinuating that Mario Kart 9 is the first exclusive Nintendo game and that there's this limited edition console. Now, this seems very great. This seems awesome. This seems perfect. But where I'm going to tell you it's too good to be true is the part about Mario Kart. Now, they're linking Mario Kart because of the limited edition console, but to me that's too convenient, right? Like, we know nothing about games from first party. We know third party, right? We've heard things from Nate the Hate about Halo and Final Fantasy. We've seen things from other French retailers about Tekken and Red Dead Redemption 2. We know that there are plenty of companies hoping to bring their big titles to Switch 2, but Nintendo has maintained lockdown. I do believe that Nintendo maybe isn't perfect on the hardware front because factories and supply chain is a definite point of exposure. But in terms of games, Nintendo really can lock that down. They haven't had previews. They haven't shown people these games. I don't think anyone truly knows what games Nintendo has or what they're about. This limited edition thing ties into Next Handheld. If nobody had said this, I'd say, okay, maybe there's more validity. But because Next Handheld is the person that has said this before, it seems like that this person is just building off of it. Now, apparently, people have found out since then that they are kind of just, I don't want to say a scammer, but that it's not really all that real. People have come out and said, it's not super real. Necrofleep says it's fake. Different people have said, I can confirm that this person doesn't actually work at the retailer, that they're just BSing. And I would say that that's probably the case. It's a very exciting leak. It's a very bold, eye-catchy leak. Mario Kart, the pricing, the games, 25 titles. But I'm going to say it's too convenient, and I don't think anyone really knows Nintendo's games, and I don't think Nintendo has sent a list out that highlights the games. They're claiming they only know the game because of the limited edition console, but I'm telling you, a limited edition console for Nintendo Switch 2 will not come out with the system launch. That might be a holiday thing. There's no way Nintendo's guess what? Our first limited edition exclusive colorway is out the same day. They just don't do that. They're going to leverage those to get you to buy another unit or to boost hype and to boost excitement and to boost interest at a time where they need a bump. I'm trying to think. Year one of Switch 1, was there even any special edition consoles? Was the Diablo one year one? I don't know. But regardless, it took them a while to really get to the good special editions, the Splatoon, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I mean, you could argue the Mario Red was kind of good. Animal Crossing, etc. So I don't buy this leak. I think, the leaks from other French retailers about games and stuff being entered in the system are good. But while this could be very exciting, while it's very tempting, I don't think it's something that you should really put a lot of clout into. I wanted to bring it up in case it does bounce back. People are saying it's false. This price point also, I don't know, that's $450 US, right? Ish. Pre-orders are really soon. I think a lot of this is more just banking on stuff like Necrofleep saying, I don't think he's kidding, next week's the week. So people, can kind of formulate these things about like, oh, Mario Kart 9 is a very probable Switch title. It's probably going to get announced next week. Pre-orders will probably start soon, so you can make a lot of right guesses. And I've talked about this over the last year or two about these leakers, not the ones that we really trust, but other leakers utilizing and leveraging most likely accurate information. Like, I've heard Nintendo is working on a new game in the Mario franchise. Like, okay, duh, they are. Like, that's been talked about, and you can be pretty right. Or like, it's been told to me that Nintendo has a couple of surprise titles, and then you can just make up whatever the surprises are. Or, you know, then you can say, oh, Nintendo's working on a Star Fox, but they decided to cancel it last. Like, people are too quick to make sort of these generic predictions and then sort of backfill to make it seem like they're accurate. But this is the one that I actually like the best. This is what I like the best. This comes from a Walmart. This is a Nintendo Switch Pro Controller display while supplies last. That's really weird. That's really weird, and this is official Nintendo stuff. This is not something that a Walmart just like made themselves, right? Like Joe Walmart didn't go in the back room and print this out. While supplies last, obviously we know that the Switch is not, you know, like being clearanced out. Obviously we know that the Pro Controller is not a bad seller. Obviously we know that Nintendo isn't going out of business. So while supplies last is very weird. And the hypothesis then becomes, why are they clearing out Pro Controllers and saying while supplies last? It really feels like there's going to be a new Pro Controller that incorporates maybe some new technology, some better triggers, maybe some paddles like we've heard rumored for customizable buttons, and definitely that C button. The C button needs to go on there, and therefore Nintendo would most likely replace the existing Pro Controller and remove it from the market pipeline to put out all Switch Pro Controller 2, version 2. Now, I think the Switch 2 Pro Controller will work with the Switch 1. I think the Switch 2 Pro Controller will work with both easily, happily, and fine. But I think it'll be slightly improved, and I think it'll be C button approved. And it might even be a little bit more. Maybe Nintendo will up the price by $10. Hopefully they keep the same price point. I think it's still an expensive controller, but I think it's still a very worthwhile controller. I think it's Nintendo's best controller, so any improvement is just like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Give us a little bit better sticks, give us a little bit better triggers, add that C button in there. Maybe, you know, make the colors a little cooler. Nintendo did an awesome job, I feel, with limited edition Pro Controllers in the Switch 1 generation. So many great ones, from Xenoblade to The Legend of Zelda, to Smash Brothers, to Splatoon, sort of how they did that like see-through kind of scheme with things kind of like embedded in the plastic of the controller. I think it looked amazing. If they want to try something different, I'm all for it, but I would rather more game-specific designs and less of just like, oh, it's blue, it's red, it's purple. But I'll let you know that Nintendo did not do hardly any of that this generation. All the coloring came from alternate Joy-Cons, and the Pro Controller was this black-gray Pro Controller, and then there was special editions that ended up being quite rare. So Nintendo could come out with a line of Pro Controllers, like an orange, a blue, and a black. That might be a really great way to sort of flood the market with your new Pro Controller, overwhelm the supply chain of the Switch Pro Controller 1, especially if you're not supplying anymore. While supplies last, they go out, and then you can replace everything with Pro Controller 2 and sell that to both Switch 1 and Switch 2 owners so that they are forwards compatible, so that they have that C button when they do eventually upgrade to the Switch 2, and you can sell them on that like, hey, your accessory, your expensive controller, your top-tier controller, the one you want to play single-player games with, it's going to work for the next system as well. I think that's absolutely what Nintendo is planning here, and I think this is really cool because to me, this is another case of like, you can't deny this. You can't spin this, right? This isn't someone saying like, oh, Mario Kart 9 is coming because I heard, because I work at, because I saw, because coded, right? It's not even someone saying like, oh, I'm Necrophilippe and I think it's next week. This is like straight up like, how do you explain this? Walmart's going to stop selling Nintendo Switch Pro Controllers for no reason? Like, come on. There's no other explanation except Nintendo is replacing this in the supply chain, and it's coming soon, and that's great news for a March or April launch as opposed to a June or July. While supplies last seems pretty quick if you're talking about waiting another 5 or 6 months for this console. I think if you're waiting 2 or 3 months, then yeah, while supplies last, get your Pro Controller. There's also the slight potential that Nintendo sells the Pro Controller before the system. And I know that sounds very weird. I give it like a 3% chance of happening. But Nintendo has made a habit this generation of selling the hardware and accessories before the games. What prevents them from selling the Pro Controller before the system? Get you excited, get you to buy it, get you to feel out something new. I honestly think that'd be a really cool marketing technique. Like, hey, the Switch 2 is launching in early April. Obviously, it comes with Joy-Con and no Pro Controller, but you can get the Pro Controller in early March and be set and ready and play with it for a while. You know, you want to go test it out on Tears of the Kingdom, you want to go test it out on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the Course Booster Pass, go for it. We've improved things, and this is a sign of what's to come for the Switch 2. I don't know. Could be very cool. I doubt it happens, but if it did, I'd be all for it, and I do think it's got some value. I think it's a smart marketing move. But yeah, next week seems to be the week. What people are saying, Necrophilippe, Guarania. I even saw Andy Robinson of VGC say he thinks it'll be next week. And of course, we have this cool thing here. We've got theories about the truth is less exciting than the rumors, whatever that means. But next week sort of being the big point of focus, and then this Halo limited edition that isn't real, but hot dang, it would be cool. And it's so cool that we're getting to experience this together in 2025. Is starting off amazing with so many leaks, so much information, and the Switch 2 rumbling like an earthquake, getting closer and closer. Not a dangerous one, not a scary one, but one of hype, hope, and happiness. So let's enjoy it together. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your take on today's topics and conversations in the comments down below. And until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.